Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Good morning and welcome back to this episode of World of Tanks. And we're going to talk field mods today. I know a lot of you asked me multiple questions about what is it, how does it work, how would I do it, all that good stuff. So let's kind of break this down into as easy an explanation as I can. And we'll go nice and slow. Just like I recommend actually you go with field modification. So you have two options really at the beginning. Ignore it and act like it never happened, or dive into it and figure out how to get them onto the tank. And I will tell you that it is much easier than you might think. I know I've had a lot of comments about how it's too complicated, it's too fiddly, I don't want to deal with it, I've already ground every tank out. Well, as you can see, I've got over 600 tanks in my garage. Now, what is field mods, basically? It is a grind on top of the grind, or it is a continuation of the grind. In the past, when you became elite, when you got your tank to elite, or in the case of the Skoda T56, a premium, you bought it, it came elite, and that's it. You were done. You unlocked all the modules, this is what elite means, and you have unlocked the next tank in the tech tree, or in the case of a premium, it just came elite because it is completely unlocked. The grind starts at that point, at the elite point. So remember, for your tech tree tanks, it's not just all the modules unlocked, it's the next tank unlocked. For tier 10s, obviously it's just the tank. Some tier 10s have a module that they have to do, or two, so you may have to do a little more grinding, and then it's a grind on top of that. So that's basically what it is. Now, why do it? Let me break that down just a little bit for you, because first of all, it's kind of a keeping up with the Joneses. Everybody's going to be doing it, and it's easier than you actually think. All right, especially just to get the baseline bonuses out of the way and to start kind of experimenting with this. All right, let's take a look at this Skoda T56 in two versions in the comparison tool. On the left here is my setup. Really quickly, we'll go back. I am in full try-hard mode with this thing because I was doing the CC competition. So I have purple vents, I have an IA, I've actually unlocked the firepower slot there, we'll get to that in a minute, and I'm using a bounty stabilizer in there. I've got directive, I'm running food, you can see this is full up. In fact, I also have another setup here in case I get into a low tier battle, or I'm bottom tier, I've got more gold ammunition, special ammunition, so try hard mode. Back to the comparison tool then, you will see that the numbers are a little bit better, and this is basically why you're going to want to do this. Obviously, it doesn't do anything for average damage or average penetration. Thank goodness there's no bonuses to that kind of stuff yet. Hopefully I didn't give Wargaming any ideas right there. The rate of fire, slightly better. The reload time, about almost 2 seconds less. Not quite. Gun traverse, better. Not going to happen. Not going to change depression or elevation. Check this out. 0.34 on the dispersion. As a matter of fact, when I had some vent directives, it was all the way down to 0.33. Okay, this other setup has basic equipment, no food, no try-hard stuff. I should have mentioned that earlier. More DPM, 2,194. Aiming time is 0.2 seconds less. So what you're getting here is you just get a bit of an advantage when you go into the full setup. Obviously, the other try-hard stuff is going to be the equipment, the purple equipment, the bounty equipment, all that kind of good stuff. But it all adds up, so when you are playing your tank at its full capability, all right, with all of the advantages you can possibly put on it, you're going to come out with a slightly better tank. 50 more hit points because of the hit points. You can see that the specific power is slightly more. The speeds aren't going to change. Potentially, actually, there are some things that will do that. Traverse speed's a little better, just 6 degrees more a second. That's actually pretty good. A little bit more camo, and check out the view range all the way up to 433. So that's the basic idea. You're going to want to unlock a good number of these things and these capabilities with your field modifications. Now, a portion of that, a good section of those numbers, those bonuses came off of the equipment right there and the crew and all that good stuff and the food. All right, so let's not get too crazy. The field mods aren't going to do all of that for you, but they're part and parcel of running your tank to its best capability right there. Okay, so that's a good example. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing you've got to do if you are going to grind the experience to unlock field modifications, you're going to have to come up here to the top left. And if you have clicked Accelerate Crew Training, you're going to have to unclick that. I do that because now my experience will go over to this spot right here, okay, where it says 0, and I'll start building experience, because as you unlock the field modifications by using experience. We'll show you that in just a minute. Now I'm gonna go click that back on it because I've already unlocked everything. Which gets to my advice on how you should do this. I say take it slow. So what I would do initially, if you haven't even started with this, is I would grab a premium tank, one that you use a lot to grind credits, that you like, that you're good in. Hopefully you've got enough free experience to just unlock everything. If you do not, then go ahead and unclick the Accelerate Crew Training and start building up that experience on that tank. Now we're going to go to the Skoda just to show you a quick example once we get into field mods, what it would cost you to just use free experience. All right, these are the levels of field modification. These levels unlock all the rest of the things. We'll get to the specifics of that in a minute. I just want to show you that it's 69,000 right here, 69,000 experience to increase to level 6, which is the best tier 8 can get to. Again, we'll break down what the differences are in the levels and how tier 6 doesn't get as much stuff as tier 10 in just a moment. But I wanted to just show you that it's 69,000, or you grind out 69,000 experience. Okay, so let's go back though to the T56. Actually, let's go ahead and break down the levels really quickly right here, because it starts at tier 6 and it goes to tier 10, and kind of unfortunately tier 6 doesn't get as many things unlocked as tier 10 does. And for me, this is a bit of a problem insofar as we have a 3-tier system and you've already got a better tank, which now has some more better stuff tacked on top. And tier 5, by the way, doesn't get anything. So tier 5 to 6 is a big leap, and then each tier up there's a little bit extra. Tier 6 and 7 are exactly the same. Let's jump into one of those things right here. So here's a tier 6. It's the Skoda T40 we'll go to, and that's how you get to field mods, by the way. This button up here will do that. So tier 6 will go up to 5, level 5, and we'll get into the bonuses in just a minute. Whereas tier 7, which should be right here, is also, oh, by the way, tier 5. So basically the exact same thing. So tier 6 and 7 will unlock 3 of the dual modifications. Let's break this down now. There's 3 things going on right here with your field modifications, and it's sort of 4. One is dual modifications. They get unlocked at each of these levels, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. You will note that tier 6 and 7 only goes to tier 5, so naturally it's only going to unlock 3 of the dual mods. Tier 1 unlocks this first alternate configuration for Essentials loadout. Tier 3 unlocks the second alternate configuration auxiliary loadout. We'll break that down, what that means in just a minute. You can see that you do not get to tier 6 because it just doesn't exist with a tier 6 or 7 tank. Okay, see how that works. So if we back out of this and we go to the tier 8, realize the 7 and the 6 are the same. We go to a tier 8 tank that I haven't done, and you can see that I can go up to field modification level 4. And apologize because I'm going to mix and match this tier and level stuff a little bit because they use so many different words for all these things. But a level 6 field mod for tier 8 will get you 3 of these, just like the tier 6 and 7, and adds in, as you can see, right, level 6 unlocks this, which is a second slot category. We'll break that down in a minute. We go back out and we grab a tier 9 in here, which I believe I have unlocked somewheres. Probably don't have it selected. No, I do not. So we grab the tier 9, we look at that one, and it gets everything but the last dual mod. So it adds a dual mod in there, and then tier 10 will give you the last dual mod. As you can see, level 7. Tier 10s go to level 8. I know it's very, very odd, but not that hard to figure out. Because the honest truth here, fellas, is you just go to your dual mod and look what that tank can get. Right? Okay. Now let's break down. We're going to go back to the tier 8 that I have been using because I have unlocked everything on this tank. Okay. What do we have going on here? The first thing, I said there was 4. The first thing, there's 3 technically, but really 4. The first thing is a permanent bonus, which you can see right here. So as you click along those different levels, each one you can click on it in the tanks that you haven't done it yet in. So let's just do that for giggles. You can see what your bonus is. Okay, so I have no bonus. I do this, no bonus. I go to level 2. I get a 1% engine power bonus. I go to 3, no bonus, no more bonus. 2% engine power. Nothing. 3. Oh, there he goes. 3% engine power on level 5 and level 6. Nothing else, but it does add that. So you can see how each of these things, as you click on them, there's my first dual mod. There's my alternate configuration. There's my second dual mod, my third dual mod, and then I get the second slot category. So that you can see. So the first thing is that permanent bonus to something on the tank, and each class is slightly different. For the Skoda, if we go in here for my T56, I got 3% hit points. Remember that extra 50? That's where that came from. Okay, that's where that came from. As a matter of fact, I am backing up quite a bit. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it from here. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, actually, you can get the field modification from that way as well. Okay, so here we are with the Skoda T56. So I can select one of these 3 dual mods. So the dual mods are the second thing that you get. All right. Permanent bonus, first thing. Second thing, dual mods. And you only get to pick one. Now, the thing about the dual mods, if you highlight it, you will see that there's a green number and a red number. Obviously, the green is good, the red is bad. There's going to be some kind of plus and some kind of minus. And the one next to it will mirror the opposite. For example, this one is +5 to aiming speed, +3% to aiming circle size. Let's unlock that one. Or if I go over here, this one is -3 to aiming circle size and -5 to aiming speed. Now the beauty of this is if you look over on the right, actually over here, then when you click on that, it will tell you what the change is. So notice that if I do this, my dispersion is 0.34. If I pick this one, it goes down 1, but I get a worse aiming time. Notice how that was the plus and the bonus, or plus and the minus, right? I got -3 to the circle size, that's the dispersion, that's a good thing. But I got -5 to my aiming speed, which made it longer aiming time, that's a bad thing. And then I can do the same thing if I click on this side, boom, look at it, it switches them around. So it's absolutely beautiful. You can see exactly what it's going to do to your stats. If I click on this, +15 to stun, +4 to stun duration, and what else did I get? I got a little bit more view range, got me up to 433 right there, okay? So as you click on those. So that's the second thing, the second thing. The third thing, which I find to be, I think, the most useful. These, I'm going to let you guys play around with these. I'm not going to give any real advice here on which one to pick. Some are more interesting than others. I think of all of these, this middle one, the parallax or aiming gears, is kind of interesting for a heavy tank with bad dispersion, because if I do this, I got, well, if I want to aim, that's better. But if I do this, I get another point of dispersion for just a little bit extra aim time, which you might be doing anyway with your heavy tank. So right there is not bad. It's 0.34, 2.6, and then I get the little swapperino right there going on. Which one's better? Which one's worse? Some of it may have to do with playstyle. Okay, let's go back out, because these first 2 slots, or these three slots, are really interesting. And I actually used the one with the ammo quite a bit. I don't think the equipment one is as useful. So basically what you're unlocking is the ability to have a different loadout. Right now I haven't put any equipment in this. If you put the same piece of equipment in the second slot, it will use, this is going to be weird to describe, it will use the same piece of equipment from this slot on that tank, meaning that I would not need two vents for this, okay? 2 purple vents. I would not need 2 as long as I use a purple vent. If I use a regular vent, it's going to use a different piece of equipment. Okay, so it's a little bit wonky. There you go. But you can use one or the other. And when you load into your game, and this is one reason why I suggest you go ahead and do this once, get this thing set up. When you load into your game, you're going to have the option during the load-in screen to pick the setup that you want. I don't have another equipment setup because I don't see a better one for what I was trying to do with this tank. Howsoever, I do have a different consumables and ammo setup, and that's the second slot. So you can see that this is a, number 2 has 22 special rounds, gold rounds. Number 1 And it does take a little while, by the way, to switch. So if you got happy clicking fingers, you might get yourself in a little PIO right there, so be careful. And then this one is if I run into, say, a top tier with some 6s and 7s, I'm probably going to roll around just fine with less gold ammo, so not bad. You might even have one where you don't have food, right? Maybe in this not try-hard setup, you're running a fire extinguisher and no food and less special ammo, and you go, ooh, I'm bottom tier in a tier 10 battle. Let's go ahead and roll some food, and we'll roll some more special ammo. Just as one example of why you might want to change around your setup right there. The third thing in that slot down there, this reassign, well, it says reassign, but it will say assign the first time you do it, is the second slot category. And this is where I say there's kind of 4 different things going on. This isn't swapping out around equipment. What this is doing is very cool. If you come down here, it is allowing you to add the firepower slot to another equipment slot, right? So let's go back and look at this, and I'll click on reassign here. I'm not going to do it. It does cost 50,000 credits, and you can go back and change it. Just costs you another 50,000 credits. Unfortunately, what you can't do is pick one of the 4. It only gives you the option of 2, and you'll have to look at each class on which options they are. For heavy tanks, it happens to be mobility and firepower, but hey, firepower is hugely, hugely usable by heavy tanks, and I picked firepower, and I put that in that second slot, and then I put a piece of firepower equipment in that second slot. Now there's a lot of stuff going on in these equipment slots now, especially with this second specialization on those slots. You know, vents are good for anything. Heavy tanks come with the whatever this one's called, the hardening one or whatever it is. So the heavy tanks come with that, and vents always give you a bonus, but bounty and purple vents don't give the bonus. They already have a bonus. You can see how there's a lot of iterations, which is kind of why I've got it set up the way I've got it set up. So in essence, survivability is what it's called, survivability. In essence, I'm sort of wasting that slot because I'm not using something that has a bonus, but I'm already using a very good vent system with the purple vents, so that's really quite the bonus going on right there. I put the improved aiming in there because it's a firepower slot, and you can see that it's now -7 to the aiming circle size instead of -5. It gives you a 2% bonus in that case. And then this is a slot that doesn't have any specialization, and that's where my bounty stabilizer is at -25 for the bounty piece of equipment. All right. Whew, that was a lot. That was a lot. We go back here, and that's basically it. If we go to tier 10, we do get some more dual modifications. Let's grab a tier 10 here, which I don't have one in a check, so we'll go ahead and just grab one here, and we'll use this guy. So if we go ahead and click on that, by the way, it's 224,000 for a tier 10 if you're just going to use experience or free experience. All right, whether it's experience or free doesn't matter, but free experience is hard to get to. Notice that this tier 10 got to down here plus 5% vehicle hit points. Okay, and then it unlocked these other dual modifications. This one is some traverse speed for getting protection from HE and stun, and this one is internal module durability and repair speed bonuses, but you lose some gun traverse and dispersion during gun traverse. So you can see there's always a trade-off in there. There's always a trade-off in there. Last thing I wanted to show you from the technical standpoint is the comparison tool does allow you. So we'll go in here and configure. This is the one that was not the try-hard mode. Notice down here there's a new section called Modifications. Click on that, and now you can go ahead and give your tank all these different modifications. Okay, so these are the things that will give you bonuses. So I've added some hit points. I've just randomly selected some of the dual mods, and you can see everything that it's doing to the tank over here. Now, unfortunately, it's not one part of the UI, because you have to hit apply, and then you have to come down here and you can start putting different equipment and things and watch the whole number over here start to modify. You know, we just give them everything that they got here. We'll do all that, and we'll add some food in there, and we'll just give them some purple equipment. Why not? You know, so you can see that you can really start to mess around in the comparison tool. You can basically set up the tank any way you want in the comparison tool without spending any money by using the removal tickets, whatever they're called, or gold or bonds or whatever. So you can play around in the comparison tool and see what everything is going to do to that particular tank. And this is highly useful. I would absolutely recommend you mess around with that to see where you want to put your tank. And then you'll see what the numbers come out to right there. All right, guys, that was a down and dirty with the field modifications. I hope that's kind of took away some of the mystery of this thing. As you can see, I've done it with my Skoda T56, and what's I think interesting is so far I've kind of shied away from messing around with the dual mods. That I did not see anything compelling enough in those that made me want to give up what I was giving up to get what I was getting. And the only one that really ever kind of started to appeal to me a little bit was the dual mod, where I was getting a little bit better dispersion, but I just didn't want to give up the aiming time. So I thought 0.34 and 2.6 was pretty relevant, pretty good, so I stuck with that. I think where the dual mod thing is going to come into its own and might be interesting, and these have been shown on several videos, is you get some of these outlier tanks who have these crazy capabilities, whether it's view range or stealth, stealth camo, whatever the case may be there. Maybe some of these dual mods might just push it to another level on that, especially maybe light tanks getting a little bit more view range or a little bit more camo might make them capable of some things that we haven't seen potentially. But for a heavy all-rounder tank like this, it's good enough to get to level 6, get your 3% hit points. Make sure you have multiple setups, especially the ammo one I think is probably the best one. Actually, it'd be this one over here. The ammo one, in my opinion, is the best one. And then definitely wanting to get this so I can get another of the bonus slots set up for my tank. Those are the things I would absolutely go for with these tanks. So grab one that you like, or a couple. Spend a little bit of that hard-earned free experience, because it's only, what, 69,000 for a tier 8 in there. Get one all the way unlocked, and then start messing around with it and see where you come out. So really, you have two choices, my friends. You can ignore it, stick your head in the sand, and hope it goes away, and it won't. At which point you're going to be at a slight disadvantage, not huge, but slight disadvantage. Much like if you didn't run equipment or whatever, you didn't put the skills on your crew, all that kind of thing, which you would never do, right? You would never do. I have a complete faith in everyone. You've figured out this game so far. It is quite complicated. Bit of a grognard's heaven in there. This is just adding another level of complication on top that really is kind of fire and forget. If you just unlock the crew experience, start getting the experience, unlock the levels. Once you unlock all the levels, now you can do whatever you want with it. And really, even if you ignored it from there, it wouldn't matter, because you got your permanent bonus. The only thing I would say, parting shot, is make sure you grab that extra slot if you have a tier, and I think it's at tier 8, right, that you get that. Tier 8 and above, once you unlock it, make sure you assign that extra slot and you put a piece of equipment that takes advantage, because that's a big deal. That's actually one of the biggest deals in this whole thing, other than just the free stuff. And then kind of play around. You may find some of these dual modifications are to your liking, based on your play style, something you want to try out. Pretty cool. It is 150,000 for these. I did not mention that. Oh, I'm sorry, not 150. It's 50,000 for these. I think it gets more expensive maybe for the higher tiers. Is that true? Hold on, before I go, let's just take a quick gander at that, because I could have swore I saw something for 150. There we go. The higher tiers are more expensive. That, as usual. As usual. All right, everybody. I hope that helped you out. Let me know down below, kind of down and dirty, as I get more experience with it and start figuring it out. If we get more nuanced information or something that's interesting in there, I'll make sure I get a video out. If you have ideas for videos you may want to see in regards to field modifications, but I'm going to be honest with you, straight with you guys. It's easy. Unclick, accelerate crew training, grind out the experience or use free experience, unlock it for the tanks that you like, and then fiddle around with it. Bottom line. Thanks for coming. I do appreciate your support of the channel, as always. Keep the content coming in. If you guys have a cool game or something you want me to take a look at, feel free to send that. That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.